Our Leaf reporter, Mark Masters, lives to work another game because the Leafs staved off elimination in Game 4. Mark, we talked about the core four pretty much incessantly for the last couple of days, how much pressure was on them, their legacy, everything on the line, and they came through in Game 4.
Yeah, they sure did, Jay. I mean, the whole team played very well. Sheldon Keefe saying it was the best effort of the season. Certainly can understand why he would say that considering what was on the line. He just says there was no let-up, and it was the core guys who were a big part of that. Of course, William Nylander and Mitch Marner get the goals. Keefe says, just they dug in a little bit more. Nylander dug in a little bit more. He was all over the ice. Of course, he gets the goal, but defensively, he was back-checking. He was just the complete William Nylander effort. And for Mitch Marner, I mean, it felt like he got a bit of his swagger back tonight. At the end of the game, Matthew Tkachuk, his old buddy from the London Knights, punching him, and Marner just smiling it off. After the game, I asked him, has the pressure dynamic changed in the series? He says, we don't care about that. Don't care about the Panthers saying there's no pressure on them. We just want to do what we do in here and replicate the effort we got tonight in Toronto in Game 5. So it was a big night for this whole team, but definitely that the core guys got on the board and were really leading the charge in this regard.
And then the Leafs start a rookie goaltender, Joseph Woll. First rookie goaltender to start a Leafs playoff game since Felix Potvin back 30 years ago when you were probably not even born yet, Mark. Joseph Woll, 24 saves. It was incredible to me because he didn't seem nervous at all. Did he seem nervous to you? How did he seem after the game?
Yeah, he's not nervous. He's just enjoying this moment. It's funny, Paul Maurice, earlier in the series, he was talking about goaltending, and he says, you either kind of want a guy who's been there before and is unflappable, or a kid who just doesn't know what he doesn't know, right? And so the Leafs seem to have that with Woll. He comes in, not just his first Stanley Cup playoff start, but his first start since April 13th in the regular season finale. So, I know he's been in relief, but it's a little bit of a different thing when you're starting the game and when you're starting an elimination game, and the players have just raved about him. And this was a really strong effort for him, and you can certainly understand why Game 5, they would be very comfortable with him in there. Samsonov, we haven't got an update on his injury, but now with the way the series goes the rest of the way, game, day off, there's no two-day break. You got to think that if Woll keeps this up, obviously there's no margin for error, so if he has a bad game, they're probably out, but they'll stick with him. And Sheldon Keefe said the reason they did not consider Matt Murray for this game, a two-time Stanley Cup champion, is because of how pleased they are with Woll's progress this season. He says that Woll has exceeded what they thought this year.
I'd say you're absolutely right. So the Leafs survive elimination. We go back to Toronto. I always ask you to take us inside the Leafs dressing room after these games. Can you do it for me one more time? What are you feeling? I know last game it was pretty quiet. The answers were short. The questions were short. How was it after this Game 4 win?
I describe it as a quiet determination because they know it's still a long way to go here, but they've got their foothold in this series now. You could feel that they've figured out a recipe here to kind of turn this series, to plant maybe a seed of doubt in the Panthers' mind. Florida had won 6 straight games. Sheldon Keefe said, we want to make this uncomfortable on them. We wanted to get them on a plane tomorrow, flying up to Toronto with us, and they have done that. I was just laughing, though. Paul Maurice was pretty funny in his post-game presser. He said, we didn't lose that bad that they won't let us play the next game, right? He was joking with us that one of the adjustments they'll make is to try and get the referee not in that spot where, it will deflect a pass right into the slot where William Nylander can finish it. So Maurice was just joking and jovial. He's saying, it happens. You lose a game in the playoffs. Florida's been on an amazing run, but now we go back to Toronto, and we'll see if the Leafs can do it. They've lost both home games in this series. They lost a couple home games against Tampa Bay. They're due for a really good effort at home. We'll see if they can produce it.
And so Florida, as you said, they have to get back on that plane, and so does Mark Masters, back on the Bell Media private jet to cover Game 5 Friday night in Toronto. You're the best, buddy. Get some rest.